Hey guys, what's going on? It's your boy MKS here. Hopefully my voice will be clearer than my last video, but this is, I said it in the wrong order, but never mind. Hopefully my voice will be clearer than the last video, but this is part 2 of my political dreams, aspirations, and priorities, policy ideas, and all that sort of. This is my strange attempt at a manifesto, in a way, partly for fun and partly to sort of express my ideas, which I suppose all my videos are pretty much kind of about. I may have not done much research just like other videos, and perhaps I should start doing so, and maybe I'll look into that in the future. But anyway, hope you like this video. And one of the things I was thinking about is, like, when Obama got into office, I don't think I'll ever get to that position, but when Obama got, in fact, someone was saying, there's for those who don't follow British politics, maybe there's quite a posh guy called Jacob Rees-Mogg, and he was talking to someone on a political show about the leader of the opposition, Jeremy Corbyn, who is a self-declared pacifist, and he said, whilst I admire his position, I can't imagine him being Prime Minister of this country because he may at some point need to go to war, and if he's not prepared to do so, it would make him unfit for office. So I think it would be good to have a leader who is not trigger happy, in my opinion anyway, who, especially if you want to see peace, who only goes to war when you really need to go to war. So I think a leader like that, who is only prepared to go to war when absolutely necessary, I think would be a great leader in my opinion anyway. And I'm not sure if other people agree or not. Of course, it's your individual choice. I know in Britain and America, supporting the military is a popular thing. So, but yeah, I think it would be good if it was the last resort. And I would keep losing my train of thought. But yeah, Obama, when he got into office, I was saying, sorry, I forgot what I was going to say, was talking about how he was going to increase or get rid of tax cuts that for companies that employ people in China and places like that, and instead give them to companies who employ people in the US. And I don't know if he ever managed to do that, but a lot of people were excited probably when he claimed that, and they thought the jobs were going to come back and they were going to get a better standard of living and all that. But so I do kind of worry with my own ideas about taxing companies or individuals that go to war or take us to war, or like war lobbies and war profiteers and people like that, companies that profit from war as well as individuals, and rewarding those or giving those who don't go to war or who campaign for peace or who work towards peace tax cuts instead, or tax breaks, incentives, relief, tax relief, whatever you want to call it, tax rewards, whatever. Which I wish to do with tax rewards, if you like, or incentives. I use these terms interchangeably, but incentives is probably a better word, because it's saying that you're getting tax cuts or relief or whatever because you're doing something positive. So providing healthy food, environmental things, peace, stability, education, things. I think there should be a massive tax cuts for doing those things, and they hopefully, to me, it's more freedom. And it'll be seen as a reward that you get to keep more of your own money or invest it, and possibly more acknowledgement for those companies. But yeah, part of me does worry if the policy is workable. I hope so, but I think it'd be great to see more peace and all that. And as I say, those tax cuts, but also increasing tax for those who go to war. So instead of making war profit, make peace profit. And I think if I have the slogan, if you make peace profit, I'm sure you'll see how quickly things will change. Anyway, so getting back to the list, I'm wary I've kept the introduction quite long, so getting onto the list. Point number 11, I hope to, as I say, listen to other people about what they would love to change about politics, or what they'd love to change about the world, and see how many things from different people's ideas, like listening to ideas what other people have, how many changes we can implement to make the world a better place and things like that. Point number 12, I love to encourage people to, again, tax cuts, provide tax cuts again for mentoring people from disadvantaged backgrounds such as disabled people, and to offer tax rewards, incentives, cuts, or breaks, whatever you want to call them, tax relief, or if you like, for companies which employ a certain amount of disabled people. Possibly discussing with companies what would make it financially beneficial for them to employ disabled people or other disadvantaged people, like people of color, women, and other groups from disadvantaged backgrounds, and also to exempt such groups from tax as much as possible, or wherever possible, like disabled people to give them the lowest possible taxes, people of color, women, and other such potentially disadvantaged or often disadvantaged groups. Point 13, as I mentioned before in my previous videos, is a number which I see is quite unlucky. So I was thinking it's hard for me to say a policy like to say I don't actually. Obviously, I'm going to share policies which I like or agree with, as naive as they might be or whatnot. But as not everyone might agree. But I was thinking point 13 could be like, I hope people don't think these policies are too bad, or think too badly of me of these ideas. And so I thought, as I say, I'd include a negative one for that one. But anyway, point 14, I hope to look at working together with people on discussing ways to solve problems such as global warming, climate change, terrorism, and all those sorts of problems that are plaguing the world, and look at how we can work together internationally and cross-party and things like that to, as I say, things like offering tax cuts for companies that provide greener energy, rather than trying to just tax people all the time, but instead offering tax incentives that will encourage people to do good things, arguably, or positive things, if you like. Yeah, that sort of thing. 15, I hope to continue making videos like this and share my dreams, and hopefully keep planning them out and see what can be done, and that sort of thing. 16, as I say, I hope to work with brainstorms or think tanks, groups that can come together and talk about how to make the world a better place, how we can network together, how to help more poor people, things like that. 17, this is probably going to sound really naive, and it's one of the things where I talked before making these videos. I talked about how I was wary about how naive some of these ideas might be, or how people might mock the ideas. So I was wary about whether I should share them or not. But I was thinking, like, imagine if there was like a maximum tax of just 10%, or there's a maximum tax like only £1 million. So no matter how much someone earned, they'd only have to pay up to that much. So if we reduce taxes that much, but except for militaries or weapons trade and stuff like that. 18, I talked before about positive politics. So I was saying about how instead of talking negative about what your opponents are doing, or negative things about themselves, you talk about positive things about yourself, and that kind of thing. So like, our party will do this and it will be good because, rather than like saying that party is bad because they do such and such, and instead of shifting the blame like lots of politicians do, or probably most, nearly all of them do, so I think. 19, again, this might be another idea that you might see as naive, but I was thinking, like, I suppose some of you might say, I mean, to be honest, I'm not even church going, so, and also to implement my ideals into other religious groups. But I was thinking, like, if I could, I'd make it illegal for people from religious groups like priests, vicars, or people like that to earn more than minimum wage from their congregation. Like, they would only be able to earn up to minimum wage because they're supposed to be serving the community. And I try and put pressure on religious groups to give more charity, and to like donations they get should ensure that those go more to help people who are homeless or disadvantaged, especially homeless people, and also like possibly say that any religious building has to open the door for homeless people and to give them shelter, especially in cold weather, and food and drink and things that they need, as I say, especially in cold weather and things like that. Point number 20. Again, this is another really naive idea, which I was kind of shy to share because I think maybe I'm being naive or foolish or whatever. But as I say, you never know; someone might like it. And I thought I talked before about this channel being honest. So, but yeah, like people who get money from the taxpayer, like politicians or anyone who works for the public sector, except for doctors or people who work for the healthcare. Like here in the UK, we have the NHS, which is famous. I suppose most people probably heard of it, but around the world. But other than those people, I think they could have second or third jobs. But I think because they're getting paid by the public, and I want the public to be as free as possible, I dream for them. And I know I've been mocked for this idea quite a lot in the past, so I'm kind of being a little bit brave to share it, but sheepish at the same time. But anyway, I was thinking that they would be on minimum wage because it's the bare minimum amount of force, because the taxpayer is forced to pay tax. It's the bare minimum amount. So politicians would be on minimum wage, and they won't be able to make money from expenses and yet all free stuff. They'd have to declare that it's for their work and they're not making profit from it. So their take-home pay would be minimum wage. But I'd also, like, I think I forgot to mention that I'd love to raise the minimum wage to £10 an hour, or the equivalent of £10 an hour in poorer countries, whatever that would be. Again, being from Britain, although I'm not patriotic, I'm going on my experience of living in the UK. So that's why I'm working pound sterling. But though I've heard of other currencies, I don't know what their equivalent would be. But yeah, so but they could still make money. Politicians could still make money doing second or third jobs, as long as it didn't affect their job as a politician. But they wouldn't take more from the taxpayer, so they take the bare minimum amount. Or maybe society again could agree on what politicians should be paid because they're the ones who pay for it. So it's just like when you go to work, your boss, if you have a job, your boss tells you. You don't tell your boss what you're going to be paid. They tell you what you're going to be paid. I know some people say politicians are qualified, so that's why they get so much. But yeah, doctors and healthcare managers and people work in the healthcare industry, other than the secretaries or the cleaners or whatever, which would also be on minimum wage. The doctors would be on like 100k a year. So I know I picked that number at random. I know I got mocked by that for that by a friend because he said you're just picking numbers at random. So I'd love to know what. Maybe I wouldn't, but maybe I kind of love to know what you think. But hopefully, as I say, it won't be too rude. But and I also think because people who are paid by the public purse, if you like, by the taxpayer, in other words, I think because you're being paid by a taxpayer, I think they should be exempted from tax, because I don't see the point of giving them money from taxes and then taking it back. I think that's probably an unnecessary process. So it could probably save a lot in admin or hassle. It just seems a bit pointless to me to give them tax money and then take it back. Yeah, so as I say, I'd love to hear, as harsh as it might be, I'd love to know what you think. And if there are any ideas you didn't like, or am I being too naive? My idea is a bit pie in the sky, or too outlandish, or naive, or whatever. Or are there any ideas that resonate with you? And I might make a few more videos about if I miss any ideas as well. As I say, I'm hoping to make my political ideas as often as possible. Maybe even at least once a week, and maybe even daily if I can, as often as I can. So at least every Thursday, maybe like every day from today onwards. But anyway, hope you like this video overall. Hearing my quirky thoughts. Peace and love.